Yeah,
Can you hear me okay?
yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Alright, here we go. Let's give this a run. What's up, guys? MLB Marathon. Live. Noah, how are you
Yes, sir.
doing?
Fantastic. How are you?
This is a new environment for us, so bear with us as we try to live stream here live for the first time on YouTube. Podcast is recording, but we're also live streaming the podcast, so it's something new for us. Hopefully, it's more interaction between us and you guys. Um, Noah, let's get right into it. There's not much to wait on except for the people.
How,
And
how,
it,
how many how many viewers we got right now?
right now, we just tweeted it out. Right now, we're sitting at a solid one. So whoever's out there watching, we appreciate you.
Absolutely. We're gonna send you a bunch of free stuff.
Anyway, um, I do want to say a couple things. If you listen to our podcast, we appreciate that. This is something new to try and test out, see what it's like. For those that don't really like to sit back and enjoy an hour and a half podcast, want to see some video, this is something new. Obviously, you just see me. My name is Matt. Noah is my co-host and co-founder that you're hearing in the background.
And I would like to apologize for the sight that you're seeing before your eyes right now.
Yeah, yeah, it's a beautiful sight at that. Don't let him fool you by any
Yeah, right.
means. But um, lots to talk about. MLB Marathon is coming up on its year anniversary. Obviously, we all have the same interests. That's why we're here to talk baseball. But Noah, there's a long list of people that are possibly on the move. Angel says, "What's up? What's up, Angel?"
Yeah, I heard one of those guys that's getting moved is Aaron Judge. Is that correct?
I don't think so. That would be
Oh.
heartbreaking. And as we speak of Aaron Judge, the Yankees are in a heated matchup against the Twins. So that's a playoff preview at its finest. Back and forth, back and forth. Chapman blows the save. This one blows the save. Unbelievable game. Well, let's get started, Noah. Where's that list at?
Uh,
Read off some names here.
I have it in front of me right now.
Um, I'm taking a look at some of these farm systems. You know, it was pretty interesting tonight to watch the scoreboard. And I don't know if it's me. I know it's early, but remember like down the stretch, August, September, we always go scoreboard watching. Well, I feel like right now at the end of the July, because of the deadline, I'm scoreboard watching myself just to see the teams that could possibly be sellers but are
Did they
playing really
wait?
well.
Did the Giants end up losing tonight?
The Giants are tied right now with the Cubs 4-4 in the
Okay, well
11th.
that's good because if they lose, then Bumgarner is probably going to get dealt.
Well, we'll have to see with that, but I do you want to start with Bumgarner? Because a lot of people love that name.
No, I want to start with Marcus Stroman only because he's supposed to pitch tomorrow,
Let's
and
do it. Marcus
I'm
Stroman.
I'm wondering if he's going to end up getting scratched.
Scratch because he's going to be traded before the start.
Well, that because his value is like the highest it'll ever be right now, and if he goes in
Right.
there tomorrow and just absolutely gets shelled, then there's an issue. So I'm wondering if they're going to just scratch him and trade him.
I don't think so. I think that's his final showdown. I think that's the last start before he gets traded, and that's where all the scouts are going to be. I remember his last start, the scouts, there was like 8 to 10 of them. Lots of contenders showing their faces. Um, Angel asks, who are the New York Yankees going to get? We'll touch on them in a minute. Definitely a team that we see making a move here. But let's continue with Marcus Stroman, Noah. You mentioned he pitches. Who does he pitch against tomorrow?
Uh, I mean,
I
what would your prediction be? Just throw a team out there.
Marcus Stroman.
It obviously doesn't have to be right because Heyman, Rosenthal, and them are never right. So,
I'm going New York Yankees. And don't
oh
even
my God,
no, that's not even biased. We can go down the list of reasons why I think that works.
I don't
Um,
think Toronto's gonna deal within the division.
I do. They're smart. There's some connection there. There's some previous trades that have happened in the past. Toronto knows what they're doing. They got a young core hitters, like Simonetti mentioned in our podcast last night. Toronto wants pitching, and the Yankees have a long list of pitching prospects that they can give up um, to get Stroman. And the links between Stroman and New York being a big game pitcher, that's another thing that Madison Bumgarner comes up for is being a big game pitcher. But with Stroman, he can pitch in the AL East, and he's someone who yes is a rental, but you would give an extra piece if you had to get him to get that electricity in the postseason. So I think that the Yankees are a very good favorite for Stroman. Probably have him at the top of their list, but I also wouldn't pass up on a possibility of the Braves getting Stroman either.
No, supposedly there is no dialogue between the Braves and the Blue Jays right now. That was reported
Zero
earlier.
dialogue.
Zero dialogue.
So
The
Simonetti said, "Get him, fellas." LOL. He said, "Oh my gosh," meaning when I said Stroman to the Yankees, you were like, "Oh my god, here we go." Is that so
no,
bad?
but I guess supposedly the Braves don't like the Blue Jays asking price, so they kind of just shut the door on that. But I think that they're in on others like Mike Minor, and Minor has pitched for the Braves before. That's actually where he
Right.
started his career, so I think that'd be a pretty cool reunion.
You know,
Um,
it's interesting you mentioned Minor because I'm taking a look and I'm trying to continue to interact with the chat. We have Sports Talker who says, "I wouldn't be shocked if Cashman tries a Mike Minor and Jose Leclerc combo, similar to when he got Robinson, Canely, and Frazier." That's a very good point. But are the Rangers going to sell? They have to, right? They have to.
I mean, at this point, yeah. At this point, they're all their hopes are kind of out the window. I mean, I still think they had a great year because this wasn't their year, and they're a lot better than expectations. So kudos to them. But yeah, I think that they're
You
gonna
know,
sell.
we talked about it last night. There was an interesting name mentioned, Hunter Pence, and a possible team in the Rays who seemed interested in acquiring, Hunter
Yeah,
Pence.
but
Who
like I said in the podcast last night, if you're a team in contention right now, you should go get Hunter Pence or at least make a play for him because I mean, you remember what he did to that clubhouse when he was with San Francisco in 2012, I believe it was.
just the clubhouse leadership. That's something you'd be willing to pay for down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't miss on that
So
opportunity. But we've talked about Stroman, so let's move on to the next. I want to kind of save Bumgarner for last because I'm kind of dreading talking about him because I feel like we're gonna, put all this hype about him and he just stays in San Francisco.
So let's focus on Bumgarner. We have a lot of people asking where
I just said
Bumgarner
let's
will go.
save. I just said let's save Bumgarner.
Oh, look, I'm trying to pay attention to you in the chat, and the only thing I can see in the chat is Bumgarner. But Simonetti Source says, Granky to the Phils. I would want to see that the more I think about it. Now that was something you mentioned.
Yeah, I think Greinke to the Phils would be awesome, and I don't think they'd have to give up too much for him because they're taking on such a big contract. And he's obviously a big game pitcher. He's proved that in the past with the Dodgers, the D-backs, the Angels. The list goes on. So I think he'd be great to have. Then again, I don't know if we want to take on that big of a salary because what if the Phillies want to go ahead and sign somebody in the offseason? You know what I mean?
That's true. But if Granky was to move, that would kind of be like unless it goes to LA, back to LA. I don't see him going there again. That would be one of the only teams that would really be willing to take on that contract. I mean, they
Well,
were all for spending stupid money in the offseason, and they did, but they probably could spend more.
yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting to see where he goes. I personally think he's staying put with the Diamondbacks. I think if they're going to deal him, it's going to be in the winter. But I mean,
Right.
he's only got, I believe, 2 more years left on his contract after this one. So I don't know. I don't know
I,
what they want to do with that.
I think that Arizona is a team of interest right now. A team where contenders are picking up the phone and saying these are guys we need to call. They got Robbie Ray, they got Archie Bradley, they got, like you mentioned, Zach Greinke. There's a lot of moves that they can make, and that's a team that's playing 500 baseball that doesn't want to get stuck to possibly get a wild card spot. They need to go full throttle and get these pieces out of there and get the most they can get back for them.
Well, yeah, and I mean, if I were the D-backs, I would just blow it all up right now because they've kind of been caught like, are we going to be buyers? Are we going to be sellers? And they've kind of just been picking up pieces as they go. And they're just accruing this core of older players that just makes no sense for me right now. So if I'm the D-backs GM, I get rid of everybody.
Right. So Sports Talker mentioned the Rangers. He said they lost 8 straight before tonight. Saw them in person on July 6th versus the Twins. The Rangers are serious pretenders, meaning they're not going to be contenders. They're just pretending, and they need to sell, like we mentioned.
Right. And it's definitely cute what they did. It is very cute.
Right.
But I mean, you got to. I mean, don't you got to deal Lance Lynn? You got to deal Mike Minor. You got to deal all these guys. Hunter Pence. I mean, you
Lance
got to get
Lynn's a
rid of
good
them, right?
name. A name we haven't mentioned often. Lance Lynn had a heck of a month. I think it was last month, the month of June.
Too bad he couldn't do that for the Yankees.
Yeah, you're funny. Anyway, a lot of people don't see the Mets moving Noah Syndergaard. Do you disagree with that?
Yes and no. The only way he gets dealt is if it's the San Diego Padres, because I think they're the only ones that are willing to pay that asking price because they are so high on him. It's not even funny.
The Padres, that's a very, very good connection. And like you said, that's one of the only, not the only, but one of the very few teams we've seen like really dial in on Syndergaard and what it would take. You know,
Well,
because
yeah, and I think they know that they're not going to go anywhere this year. But I mean, now they got Machado, they got Hunter Renfroe, they got these guys coming up and coming. You know, Tatis Jr. I think they could be really good maybe next year or the year after that. So why not go get Syndergaard? He's young, he's controllable. Go get him for that rotation because that's really the only thing they're lacking right now is rotation depth.
so they mentioned that the Rangers are now behind the Angels in the AL West, and like you said, they need to just go out and move pieces.
Blow it
Team,
up, blow the whole thing up.
I liked when you said that's cute. You know what I think is really cute? Not just Aaron Judge, but the Giants and what they're doing, the winning streak that they're on.
Yeah,
Um,
screw it. We might as well just talk about Bumgarner now. I mean, you know, there's an elephant in the room. Let's just talk about him.
all right, this is gonna create some conversation. We know this name. This name has been going through the live chat the last 15 minutes we've been streaming. Let's talk about him. I want your in-depth take on Bumgarner, who he is and where he's going. Who he is in
So
2019.
I think right now that the Giants are complete pretenders, and I think that if Zaidi is even thinking about keeping him right now, he's an egghead. Because I mean, let's be real here. If the Giants actually do make it, are they even going to go far? Probably not. But I don't think they have any shot. I think August they're just going to fall completely apart. But
Right.
to touch on that, I think like I said it last night as my hot take, but I think this makes the most sense. Bumgarner going to the Athletics.
Wow.
I mean, come on. They went out and got John Lester. That was a shocker because Billy Bean was laying in the grass. I think he's laying in the grass again. I think he's going to go out and get him. It ain't going to take that
So
much.
against a very good team in the Cubs, Bumgarner, I want to read his line for tonight. 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 earned, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Against the Cubs, who are a very, very good team. That's what you're looking for as a contender, right? Yes, we've heard he's not the same Bumgarner. The velocity, the innings pitched.
Well, there's a lot of mileage on that arm.
Right. Right, but it's Madison Bumgarner, and he's earned that pedigree. He's earned the respect to put on that name. He doesn't like when balls go in the ocean, but he does like postseason baseball.
Well, let me ask you, where do you think he's going? And if you say the Yankees, I'm hanging up this call.
Now, No, I I would love that. I just I don't think he gets traded.
You think they're gonna hold out and keep him?
I think they are. I don't think that they should. And hold
Well,
on,
well,
guys.
and you see though, you know what would make me really angry about that is the Giants' farm system is probably the least deep in the entire major leagues. Like their farm system is horrible. You're not going to re-sign him. Like Simonetti said last night, either commit to him or trade him. If you don't trade him, you have to re-sign him. So,
I
like,
just think they're gonna play foolish. They really think they really believe that they can do something with this team, this hot streak. All
yeah,
and
that's utterly ridiculous because you could trade him right now, get 3 or 4 good prospects, maybe even somebody who's major league ready, dump him, let him go sign somewhere else, and move on. Raise your next Bumgarner.
absolutely, absolutely. But I don't. I think this they're gonna let this momentum get to them and then get in their heads. Hopefully, Zaidi sees past that. Hopefully, he was very good with what he did in Los Angeles over there in LA with the Dodgers. But
And with Tampa, I mean, let's not
right,
forget he built that franchise. He was in charge of the 2008 World Series
look,
team.
if
So,
that's gonna be a hot take for tonight's episode, I think Madison Bumgarner gets traded back to where he started in San Francisco, and that means he's staying home. And we hear teams that trade for him. Yes, he's a rental. Could he possibly be extended by the team that trades for him? Because if you give up a boatload for Madison Bumgarner, you're going to want to have him for some time. I could see him staying a Giant. Now,
and I think that would be utterly ridiculous.
you're right, but this is a hot take. That's the reason it's a hot take. Do I want this for
Well, no,
for
no, no.
baseball?
I don't think it's a hot take because truthfully, I think that's what's going to happen too.
Look, but if I had to
But
give you a team,
the most sense for me is the Athletics.
right?
But
If I had to give you a team, if I had to give you someone where he could land, I'm gonna say the Rays. And I hate
oh
to
my
say it.
god,
I think I said that last night too, with him going to the Rays within the AL East. As a Yankee fan, it hurts to
could you
say,
imagine
but
them having Morton, Snell, and Bumgarner all in the same rotation? Ugh.
how much longer can they keep up with the Yankees and Red Sox? They have for the last few seasons, but will it last? And I see them having the
What do you mean? Will
pieces.
it last, Matt, the Rays are up and coming right now.
Right. So, but they're also ready to
No,
win
no, no,
now. Do
no.
you
no
agree?
I'm actually a little irritated by that comment. You said, "Will it last?" Matt,
Okay.
they're just getting started.
But what scares me about the Rays is there seems to be like small windows, even with the good teams they've had, with the Longoriers and the prime Archers, they don't seem to be able to
Not
put
with
it all together.
no. Look at their prospects, Matt.
Right, but you said the key word there, prospects.
Okay, this AL East bias. Let's move on from this.
Right.
Um,
Bias.
absolutely. So the next name that we will go into is we'll go with a little smaller name here,
Before we
Jake
go,
Diekman.
someone said John Heyman says the Rays aren't trading for anyone. Well, John Heyman would be silly because the Rays need a piece or two. But
John
continue.
Heyman. John Heyman is very silly, but anyways, um, next name, somebody who's a smaller name but could help a team. Jake Diekman, left-handed fireballer reliever. Where do you think he's going? And I like this guy. I used to watch him whenever he played for the Phillies. He throws hard. He's got a weird windup that throws people off. So,
Ugh.
um,
Jake Diekman to Boston. If they don't make a move for the bullpen, what what is their excuse? I mean, they chose not to sign Kimbrel. They haven't made a move all season long to
Diekman to
address the
Boston.
problem.
I like Diekman to Boston. That makes sense.
A
I was gonna
left-hander.
say
Go ahead.
I I was gonna say Diekman back to the Phillies,
Wow. Back to the
where
Phillies.
where
And
his
he's not
career
gonna.
started.
He might take like a middle A prospect with solid potential, but he's not gonna take much if you ask me. Maybe a
No, and
piece or two.
that's why I'm saying he's not. He needs to be put on a contender because when he was with the Phillies, he was pretty solid. But as soon as he went to the Rangers, because he went to the Rangers, don't forget that Cole Hamels deal way back when. So he didn't really perform up to his potential there, and I don't really know how he's doing with Kansas City right now. I think he's holding his own, but
Someone mentioned the Rays are now technically behind the Red Sox for second. Rays in third place after their loss tonight. Are they slowing down, Noah?
I don't necessarily think they're falling down. I think the Red Sox are coming up.
I even said that. What was it last night? I'm still worried about the Red Sox. If you're not worried about the Red Sox, then have you seen them the last few seasons? Did you watch last year? That's not far off.
Yeah,
from
but
teaming up.
The Red Sox need to solidify their team a little more before I can think that they're actually in this thing.
Oh, like I mentioned, they need to address the bullpen, or they might just pack it up now.
Right. Another name I want to address since we're on left-handed relievers, we'll go Will Smith. He's probably the hottest relief arm on the market right now.
But will the Giants sell, or are they going to play cat and mouse here?
No, I think the Giants are at least going to deal Will Smith because he's at his highest, potential right now. He might actually bring back a haul similar to Bumgarner's, believe it or not, because of his performance.
That's a good point. Simonetti did mention he thinks his opinion on it is that a lot of these starters we're talking about here could possibly be packaged up with a deal to any contender as the two, reliever
right,
and starter.
And if they do that with Bumgarner and Will Smith, that is going to be a monstrous package coming back.
Who's willing to pay that?
I don't know if there's that many teams that are willing to pay that. That's the thing.
Right. There's a lot to think about.
I mean, all right. Will Smith. Where do you think he's going?
Now, I said Diekman to the Red Sox. Will Smith could also be a name that they look at. I don't think they get both. It would be one or the other. But if I said Diekman to the Red Sox, I'm hearing the Nationals want a piece in the bullpen. Will Smith to the Nationals.
Will Smith to the Nationals, huh?
Yeah. Yes. The Nationals. Let's talk about the Nationals for a second. Where'd they come from, Noah? You're a big fan of the Phillies in the NL East. Where'd the Nationals?
I don't really want to talk about it. And Trey Turner, congratulations on your cycle. I still hate you.
The Nationals are very much in this.
Yeah, they're in it, but I think they're in the same window as the Giants. I mean, yeah, their record's a little better, but I mean, how long is that core going to perform for?
Good question. They had that core when Harper and Scherzer and Strasburg were all in their prime.
Yeah, thanks for Harper, guys. I'd like to thank Mike Rizzo for a completely. I would formally like to thank Mike Rizzo right now. I would like to thank him for ruining the relationship with Bryce Harper so he went to your division rival. Thank you. Anyways, I don't want to get too in depth on that. I love you.
Was Bryce that sarcastic or are you really thankful for Harper?
No, I absolutely adore Bryce Harper. He's actually doing a really good job. I mean, he was slow in the beginning. I mean, but that's an adjustment period. Anytime you're a superstar going to a new team with huge expectations, I mean, you're gonna struggle at first, but he's getting into his own. But all right.
Since we're on the topic of relievers, I want to name one guy from the right side that's very, very popular, and that's Shane Green, closer for the Tigers.
See, while we're talking about Shane Green, I think we should throw Matt Boyd in the mix. I think Matt Boyd stays right where he's at. I don't think they're ready to trade him just yet, but I do think Shane Green gets moved.
Right.
So what were you thinking for Shane Green? I think back to the Yankees.
That's tough. No. If the Yankees are going to give up a package that it's going to take to get Shane Green, then they're going to give up that kind of package to get some starting pitcher. And they could possibly get two.
Well, Shane Green's a former Yankee, isn't he?
He is. He was a failed starter with the Yankees, and ever since Detroit put him in the bullpen, I mean, he's been lights out.
Sometimes almost perfect. Happens. Sometimes you got pitchers that just can't make it as a starter, but they're lights out as a reliever to closer.
Now, something just happened in this Twins Yankees game, and Aaron Hicks apparently just made a unbelievable catch. But it's 14-12 with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the bottom of the 10th for the Twins.
Who's
So,
up?
let's see, who is this up? Apparently, Aaron Hicks just had an unbelievable catch. It's Kepler, Max Kepler.
Max Kepler's been killing it this year for the Twins.
Shane Green versus Max Kepler.
Shane Green.
I mean, sorry, not Chad Green. Chad Green.
Okay.
But
I was
anyway,
gonna say.
let's get back to Shane Green. I
Yeah.
want to mention something before you think about where he could possibly go. The Tigers. Let's talk about asking price for a minute. The Nationals, like I mentioned, could possibly get a Will Smith or something. The reason I mention that is because they're wanting relievers. And they asked the Tigers about Shane Green. And the Tigers said, in order for that, we would need our. Oh my gosh!
What?
That's the play Aaron Hicks just made to end the game. I'm just now seeing it. That was a game winner. Max Kepler just hit one in the gap, and Aaron Hicks just laid out on his belly for it. That's what everyone's
Whatever. I
talking
don't want to
about.
talk about it.
Well, that's amazing.
Anyways, Shane Green, get on the topic, Matt.
Shane Green, the Nationals asked about him, and the Tigers said, we want your number one prospect
Ooh.
for Shane Green.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. He's not established enough. I mean, yeah, he's performing right now, but he's just not established enough.
Right.
But I don't want to spend too much time on him. We got quite a few more names to name off. Ken Giles, another reliever. Where's he going?
I think it's a team that's gonna go out on a limb and say, we could do something with Ken Giles. I don't think it's gonna be any, it would be silly, but makes sense to me for a Ken Giles Houston reunion. I don't think the Houston Astros want him back in that clubhouse.
Yeah, I don't think they want
him.
him punching himself in the face on the mound. But I don't think that's gonna happen.
Realistically, Giles could go to a team like the Brewers. I see that working out.
Yeah, I could see him on the Brewers. I could also see him going to the Pirates.
Someone said Giles going to the Braves, and they also mentioned that Shane Green only is controlled through 2020, which means one more year after this. So to ask for a number one prospect, I mean, that's a hefty price.
This is a very interesting one. Simonetti's going to get very fired up over this, obviously. Robbie Ray.
Robbie Ray, let's hear it.
Go ahead.
Oh, you're asking me?
Yes.
Now, I did say the Yankees were getting 1 to 2 starters.
Oh, my God.
Calm down. Simonetti could vouch for me here. They go out and they grab
Listen,
Stroman.
It's got to be one or the other, Matt. Is it Robbie Ray or Marcus Stroman?
It's both.
Oh my God! If it's both, I'm never watching baseball again.
It's both.
I'm gonna go start my own podcast about golf if that happens.
It's Marcus Stroman and Robbie Ray. No Mad Bum, no Matthew Boyd, no Trevor Bauer, no Noah Syndergaard. Robbie Ray and Marcus Stroman. And yes,
and then the Yankees don't have a farm system. How about that?
That's fine, because you're right. They're gonna give up a haul for Robbie Ray because they're throwing in Archie Bradley, a piece to add to the bullpen.
I think you're gonna give what?
Yeah, I'm saying it.
You're gonna give up more for Stroman than Robbie Ray, in my opinion.
You think so? I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Simonetti said
well,
LOL.
Actually, no. I take that back. Robbie Ray is way more controllable.
Listen, Simonetti, what is your take on that? Marcus Stroman and Robbie Ray to the Yankees, but the Ray deal includes Archie Bradley. Is that a possibility?
I don't think Stroman. I don't think Simonetti's even going to agree with that. That's not reasonable.
I mean, he's been talking all month long that 1 to 2 starters is in the reach.
It's gonna be one or the other.
Okay. If it is one or the other, you could see them add a few arms to the pen, at least 2. But I think it's going to be starting pitching.
Okay, what about Matt Boyd?
I'm kind of with you on that. I think if their asking price for a guy like Shane Green is so high, I think Matthew Boyd stays. I don't think he
Well,
goes anywhere.
I read something too earlier that the Tigers are treating Matt Boyd right now, his asking price, as a number one, as an ace. And realistically, he's only a 2 or a 3 right now.
But he's still got so much potential, and that's what they're going to hold on to.
Right, and I mean, it's all going to depend on also, who the pitching coach is, where he goes, if they ruin him or if they excel him.
Oh my gosh, Simonetti said it could happen, but I think the Phils win a World Series first before that happens, so we know how that would work. LOL.
Oh, come on, that was not nice.
Okay.
Let's go dig at the Phillies fan. Why don't we?
Hey, Simonetti, if the Yankees do go out on the limb and say we need starting pitching, we've seen what they got from Herman today. Sabathia didn't last. Severino's still a question mark. Montgomery may not pitch till next year. If they had to go out and get two starters, who are they?
Oh my god!
Let's continue.
How did this turn into a Yankees?
This is not.
Thing?
That was just the name. You asked me the landing spot. I gave you one. So let's hear your landing spot for Robbie Ray.
Robbie Ray staying in Arizona.
But they're gonna trade Greinke.
I think Greinke's more likely to get moved than Robbie Ray at this point.
I'd have to disagree with that because of his contract that's attached to him, plus the no trade clause. I think Robbie Ray is more expendable. You can find more matchups with Robbie Ray.
I just don't think Arizona's ready to part ways with Robbie Ray. I don't think they're done with him yet. Unless they're blown away with some kind of package.
Yeah, that's true. Like a Chris Archer package.
I think you got to give even more for Robbie Ray than Chris Archer.
Someone just said that. I'm not even gonna read that comment.
No, I read it. I would like to hear it.
The Yankees need to get 3 starters, maybe 4.
Yeah, probably for them to even be legible.
Let's.
I think I'm just jealous.
Maybe. Look, the Pirates are close to you. You can be a Pirates fan.
All right, another name that I've always been very high on, and he doesn't get talked about very much. Also plays for the Tigers, Nick Castellanos.
Oh, that's a name that
I love Nick Castellanos. I love what he brings to the table. I mean, he's not your superstar like a Harper or Machado, but he can make an impact somewhere. Where do you think he's going? Because I think he's 100% getting dealt. There's a lot of teams that could use him.
To the Dodgers.
Yeah, but what do the Dodgers do with him?
They'll find something to do with him. I don't know how well Justin Turner is really doing over there at third. I know you said Max Muncy.
Justin Turner is doing very well.
But look, with Castellanos, he's a utility man. He can play anywhere. Third, short, second, outfield, whatever you need.
He can't play second or short. He can play third, first, and outfield.
I'm almost positive he could play almost anywhere.
I've never heard of that, but that's fine.
Well,
I think that Castellanos is going to go to. I think he's going to go to the Brewers.
To the Brewers. That's another team that's willing to spend. Let's just take a second to think about the Tigers here. Think about the farm system that they could have if they gave up Shane Green, Matthew Boyd, Nick Castellanos. I mean, think of the prospects. On top of that, they've been so poor lately that they've got 3 out of the 4 top 3 first-round picks the last few seasons. They've been that bad, and it's time to just let it all go. The deal they got with Verlander, and they have the farm system, but amplify that. Let all these guys go. And yes, it's a seller's market. The asking price is high, but be reasonable too, because if someone's going to offer you a number 2 or 3 prospect in their system, consider it.
I see what you're saying. I mean, I don't disagree with you.
Right. Give me a bat in the lineup that could be helpful to a team.
Okay. Jonathan VR from the Orioles.
That's a very good name. Also,
That is your standard utility man right there.
that is true. Speaking of the Orioles, another bat, Trey Mancini. Do they trade him?
That's a rough one. Yeah, because I mean, let's be real here. The Orioles just need to rebuild everything. They just need to. Truthfully, I think they should just not even be a franchise anymore. But you might as well pull out all the stops, do what you can. And it's sick too because the Orioles were actually a really good team a couple years ago.
Right.
I don't know if it was mismanagement. I don't know what happened there, but they just completely lost that team.
Someone also mentioned Freddie Galvis from Toronto.
I absolutely love Freddie Galvis from when he played with the Phillies. He's got a ton of energy. You know, his defense is superb. Um, I believe he's pretty cost efficient. I only think he's making maybe 11 million a year. Um, whew, I don't. Where would he would fit with pretty much anybody.
Any
I'm gonna
team,
have to
yeah.
go. I'm gonna have to go with the Brewers on him too.
The Brewers.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the top 5 farm systems, and I believe, oh, that's not accurate. Excuse me, that's 2018. I'm trying to think of teams that really have these package deals that they could go ahead and give up, because that's, like everyone's been saying, this is a seller's market. The asking price is going to be extremely high. And to give you the top 5 real quick, one, the San Diego Padres, who you mentioned was linked with Noah Syndergaard. They have every piece that you could think of to possibly give up. Number
Well,
two,
they have enough prospects to land every starting pitcher on the market right now.
right. They have a lot of young guys. Lower level, maybe not MLB ready. A lot of those guys like what's his name? Shortstop for the Padres. Come on.
Oh, Tatis Jr.
Tatis, yeah. A lot of those guys are at the major league level. Chris Paddock, Tatis Jr. These guys are already at or hit the major league club, but the rest of them are lower A. Number 2 is the Braves, who we've heard are going to make a big move, linked to a lot of guys like Stroman, Boyd, the Rays. I mean Robbie Ray. Number 3, the Toronto Blue Jays. Their farm system, we know that a lot of these guys like Bo Bichette, Vlad Jr., the Biggios of the world, these guys are again in the major league level, but the Blue Jays would be sellers if anything, so they're not really gonna want to package
Well,
anything
and
together.
I commend. I believe Dan Duquette's in charge of baseball operations over there now, and he used to be in charge of the Orioles. I love what he's doing. I mean, you pretty much blew it up. You still have these really good pieces that you raised, like a Marcus Stroman or an Aaron Sanchez, that you can get something out of, and
Right.
they're just going to make their farm system better over the next week.
I Going back to the Padres, they have so many guys in the top 100 prospects. All 10 of them are in the top 100.
That's
But after
insane.
but after the Blue Jays, coming in at 2 or number 4 is the White Sox. The White Sox, like I said, have a very good farm system from that Chris Sale deal, and just from being so mediocre or below average the last few seasons, their farm system, it's been
Look,
very good.
every team's got to suck for a while. I mean, to get good again, and that's just how it works. Trust the process.
And then this is an interesting one. Number 5 comes the Rays, and I said the Rays could make a big move here, and I believe that. Brendan McKay, who's made some, I believe he's made some outings already in the major leagues. Um, Guys like Brandon Lau or Nate Lowe, Shane Baz, the guy they got from the Pittsburgh deal. There's a lot of guys here that they could possibly move. 6 is the Reds, 7's the Astros, 8's the Dodgers, 9's the Twins, and 10 Mariners. 11 Tigers,
The
12
Mariners are that
A's,
high up there.
13 Cardinals, 14 Phillies, 15 Yankees. So there's your top 15 farm systems there, real quick for you. How many contenders did we hear in that little list there? Not too many.
No, because I mean they're pretty much selling a lot of guys off.
Right. We
I
heard
mean,
the Yankees, the Phillies, the Braves. Those are some of the names that are really contending this year and really have a shot to win. I could see each of those teams landing a big piece.
Okay.
Galvis is a
Um,
great name because someone did mention his salary, $4 million for this year with a club option for next year,
he's
5.5
only making
million.
4 this year. That is a steal.
The buyout for him is 1 million, so his option isn't awful for a cheap team looking for a good production guy. A guy with experience too, no doubt about it.
I mean, yeah, he played playoff baseball with the Phillies, so um, he's been around a lot longer than a lot of people think. I think he made his debut in like 2009, 2010.
Well, what's turned into a 41-minute podcast and live stream that was supposed to be 15 to 20 minutes. There's just so much to talk about. It's tough to squeeze in 20 minutes. But briefly, what are some last words, some last thoughts, possible rumors, maybe some hot takes we could throw in there, maybe a name or two
Look,
to kind of wrap
I'm
this
not
thing up.
mad about this being longer than usual. So I mean,
Are you guys enjoying this? Those that are live, we have 10 concurrent viewers, almost 50 plus views for the night. So for a first live stream, I'd say it's been a lot of fun. What I do love about this is the chat right here to interact with us and kind of give, fan opinion that we don't really have while recording the podcast.
yeah, definitely, it's definitely a better way to interact because I mean, you can't really see people's comments when we're just posting regular podcasts. So I like to see the fan feedback, what they think.
For sure. Someone
So
said the Brewers make a ton of sense for Galvis. Indians would like that kind of contract as well.
you know what? Let's talk about the Indians real quick.
Let's do it.
Whoever started the, I think it's a false rumor that these people started to get, to get some credibility, like John Heyman and them. I'm sorry. I know I'm trashing them a lot, but it just makes me mad because of all the hype they create over these deadlines and nothing happens like ever. But whoever started this rumor about the Indians selling is probably the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my entire life. These guys are right there. Why would you sell if you could have a chance to win a World Series?
That's a very good question.
Like saying that even think that Trevor Bauer is on the market, I think is ridiculous.
But I think these guys say that, teams say that, because guys like the Yankees or the Dodgers or the Braves, guys that are willing to go out on a limb and get who they want, may overpay. And just to throw a name on a market doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna trade them, but it's for guys to pick up the phone and say, "Hey, look, what are you gonna ask for Bauer?" And then that list could be anything. They could
Look,
ask for anything.
I don't get fired up about a lot, but this is one of the things that just fires me up. Like if the Indians trade Trevor Bauer this deadline, I will literally flip my lid. There's one thing in the past year that makes me more angry than this rumor is the Chris Archer trade. I'm not even a Pirates fan.
Let me ask you a question. We've already heard rumors. Now I say rumors because obviously no team's going to come out on a limb and say this, but the Indians do not want to pay Francisco Lindor. They're not going to have that kind of money to pay him. He's out. He's not going to be an Indian for the rest of his career. Bauer is someone who's going to be an arbitration eligible guy next year, and that's going to be a very expensive contract, probably upwards to 25 and 20 or more $1 million for the year. That's why I think the Indians could possibly move him. Will they? Unless they want to keep that money in their pocket, they might. We have to think about that because if they don't trade him,
I just don't see it.
if they don't trade him next year, he's arbitration eligible. He's going to go and he's going to get what he wants. We've seen guys like Arenado and these guys get what they want in arbitration. I'm not saying he's Arenado compatible to Arenado or even in that same league, but
he's another guy for me that if he's going to get moved, it's going to be in the winter.
Is going to be in the winter, you said?
Yeah, it's not going to be right now.
That is true. That's a very, very, very good point that you just mentioned. Teams like, say, the Indians, obviously, or maybe the Nationals, they don't have to do it now. They can play.
No.
They can play the rest of the season out. See where it goes. Like you said, the Indians are playing very good baseball. They could trade him for a good piece or two in the winter. That's a very good
I mean,
point.
and the same point goes back to the Giants too. If they do plan on riding it out, which again is stupid, they could just go ahead and flip these guys in the winter. I mean, well, Bumgarner's a free agent anyways.
So breaking news here: Gary Sanchez is possibly heading to the IL with a groin injury.
What a surprise!
Excuse me.
Cue Austin Romine.
Austin Romine probably gets some at bats. Maybe Kyle Higashioka called up to replace him. But Simonetti said, It will be interesting to see what the Reds decide to do with Tanner Roark and Desclafani. Two names we're not really thinking of. Two names that don't really pop out at you, but could definitely be moved.
I think Roark definitely gets moved. I don't know where, but I think he definitely gets moved. I think you got to move him. You got to get what you can get out of him. But the other guys with the Reds, like Puig and Luis Castillo, those guys aren't really going anywhere. But I think you got those guys like DeSclafani, Lorenzen. Those guys that you're not really looking forward to. I mean, yeah, they're performing, but they're not really going to be a part of your core in the future when the Reds do decide to contend again. So I think you definitely get rid of them and get what you can for them now. So that's a really good point.
Someone said 1 year to the day of his groin injury last year.
Wow. It's like he's got his calendar out. Ooh, I should get hurt this day.
He's kind of been struggling too. Maybe this IL does something for him.
Yeah, remember what was that? That was a while ago. Remember when you said Gary Sanchez was going to hit 50 home runs this year?
He was on pace for it, man. A little biased in there. Never hurts no one.
On pace for it. Exactly. Key word. Just like Christian Yelich at the beginning of the season was on pace for 85 home runs.
Christian Yelich might actually hit 50.
Christian Yelich will hit 50, but I'm saying he was on pace for 85 the first week of the season.
Speaking of the Reds, I want to bring a controversial name that Simonetti may think is controversial, or any Yankee fan or Oakland fan, maybe even the Reds. He's doing pretty well over there with the change of scenery, but this market seems to be begging for starting pitching. Sonny Gray, affordable contract.
Yeah,
loves
he's actually
in
doing
Cincinnati.
pretty well.
Could he go to a team in the National League where he seems to fit very well? Maybe to the Brewers or the Braves. Do the Reds say, what are we going to do with Sonny Gray? We're not ready to win. And get
the Brewers
package.
were right in there with the talks with the Yankees before the Reds snagged him. So, Sonny Gray.
Someone just said Giants win again. They are not selling.
They very well might not be. I mean, I think they still should. I don't know. That's a tough one, because I mean you got to respect what they're doing.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, we still got some names to talk about. You're making me digress.
Let's do it.
Some of the smaller names here. Sorry, I just hit a 2-run home run with Donaldson in the show. But
to counter my Sonny Gray point, Simonetti said the Reds locked him up and they look great for it. He is not going anywhere.
That's probably true, because I think he's actually pitching really well over there.
He is. But like I said, guys are throwing around crazy package deals for Bumgarners and Syndergaard, and who's to say the Reds don't get on the phone and say, look, Sonny Gray's available, and dangle him over someone's head and see what they offer.
Yeah, and truthfully, I don't think Sonny Gray ever lost his talent. I think Sonny Gray just was not cut out for Yankee Stadium, because he's more of a fly ball pitcher.
Right, and obviously in Yankee Stadium, fly balls don't really cut it.
Well, then again, Great American Ballpark's not the biggest park either, but
right. Well,
who is sneezing?
That is my stepson sneezing. God bless you. Everyone say bless you.
Am I allowed to come in?
No, you can talk. Say hello.
Hello.
Anyway, let's continue. Give me another name.
Eric Sogard, utility guy from the Blue Jays. I love this guy. I love his glasses.
You love his glasses. I think he goes to. Speaking of glasses, the guy who just sneezed got some. Let me put some on real quick. Oh, that's a little blinding. Take those back, please. Eric Sogard. Does he? No, this is a guy who he has some experience, right?
Oh yeah, with the A's.
Right. I say he could go back there, find a home. This is a guy you see the A's picking up, who no one really thinks about, and just does some crazy things over there in Oakland.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't have to give up much for him either. I mean, he's probably not going to be in your everyday lineup, but he's a guy off the bench that you could bring in and stick him somewhere. You could stick him literally anywhere at the diamond.
Right. All right. Give me a name that may not even be on the list. A player that no one's thinking about that you
Charlie
can see
Blackmon.
move. Charlie Blackmon. Wow. Excuse me if I'm getting a little loud, but we've seen John Morosi said something about possibly, some trade bait there over in Colorado.
If I were the Rockies, I'd trade him right now. He's getting older. He's 33, but he's still hitting. Get rid of him. Get what you can for him because the Rockies are not making the postseason.
I love that Rockies offense, but that pitching staff, that bullpen is hideous. They're 47-53, 6 games back of the division.
Yeah, and I'll say it again about Kyle Freeland. He was a Cy Young candidate last year, and now he's got an ERA close to 8.
Right.
So, Charlie Blackmon, though, I think he could fit in literally any lineup in the majors. This is a complete unbiased opinion. I think he goes to the Phillies.
Wow. Someone also mentioned the National League team. He said, I brought him up earlier. The Cardinals will go for him. Tyler O'Neill would headline the package.
Oh, I that is a very good point. When I was at the Reds game the other day, I saw Tyler O'Neill play. He is very impressive. Could you imagine putting that dude in Coors Field?
Could you imagine putting anyone in Coors Field, especially with these juice baseballs?
That is an amazing comparison, or not comparison, amazing statement. Send Tyler O'Neill back to the Rockies. Get yourself Charlie Blackmon, and because the Cardinals are not out of this thing either.
Right. Do you know who Vic DiBatello is? Comedian, stand-up guy,
Yeah.
Yankee fan. He did a Vic Gets Ticked Off video today about how money changes the playoff picture in baseball. And this is kind of off on a limb here real quick, so I'll be quick. But he said that, say it's the top 8 teams from each division, or the top 16 from AL or NL. Before they threw in all these divisions and these wild cards, 7 out of the 10 best teams come out of the American League. Not all of them will make the postseason. Those teams lose out because there's no room for them with this bracket. So his point was, money changes things. When networks can go and say, oh, the more playoff games, the better. The more revenue we can get, the better. He's saying, do you dislike this new playoff bracket, this new playoff system with the multiple wild cards and in the divisions? If you ask me, as a baseball fan, I love it. It makes the wild card so interesting.
I do not like it.
It makes the wild card so interesting. It creates excitement. It does create revenue, but it's so exciting for the game. And someone said Tyler O'Neill would hit 40 home runs in that division.
Absolutely easy, if not more. That is 100%. All right, let's stop digressing here. Let's cover a couple more names. Interesting names. Zach Wheeler.
Wow.
He's definitely getting traded. I don't know where. If I were to guess where Zach Wheeler's going, I think he's more likely to go to the Yankees than Stroman or Robbie Ray.
You think the Mets move with the Yankees here? I think they'd be more willing to give up a Wheeler to the Yankees than they would a Syndergaard.
Oh, Syndergaard is not going to the Yankees.
I'm just saying Syndergaard being traded, period. Like I'm saying the the Mets would be more likely to trade Wheeler than they do Syndergaard. And
Well,
actually get it done.
I think Wheeler hands down is getting traded.
If I had to give you a team here that would get Wheeler, that's
Boston.
a guy. That's a guy that I could see going to.
I say Tampa.
You say Tampa?
Uh-huh.
That's kind of funny because someone says the Rays are written all over him. Someone else said I feel the Astros get Wheeler. Guys, I'm gonna say the Twins.
That's not a bad one.
The Twins are a sneaky team. They're playing very well. Their offense is ridiculous. We've seen what the Yankees and the Twins are doing the last few games they've played. They hit the home run ball. Nothing's wrong with a little extra pitching, and this is a team that is gonna be a team to look out for. This is gonna be a team that you're gonna see make a move here, and Zach Wheeler I see as a good fit over there in Minnesota.
Definitely wouldn't be a bad fit. He'd slot right in there with Odorizzi and all those guys. Barrios. Let's see here. Yeah, we've covered mostly everybody.
Yeah, there's a lot of names. Let's give the chat a second to maybe throw in a name that we haven't mentioned that they want to talk about real quick. You think that's a good idea?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
So-
at the end, I want fan predictions as well.
Okay, so give us a name we haven't talked about, whether they could be traded or not. Whether you think they will actually get moved or not. Give us a name, Simonetti, throw some names out there. Whoever's still with us, give us a name that you see getting moved that we haven't talked about, and where are they going? While we wait, we'll talk to the chat a little bit.
Matt,
Twins-
I am on an incredible winning streak on the show right now. I just got to throw that out there.
That is awesome. If anyone plays MLB The Show, be sure to hit us up in our DMs, and we'll definitely get you in the party. We had a good time over there with just meeting people that enjoy baseball. But anyway, the Twins, they won't give up any top talent. Rays need a hitter that their offense is terrible. The Rays' offense is not that bad. The Rays are going to get Hunter Pence. I like that. Okay, we have a name that someone mentioned, Sports Talker, who's been very active with us all night long. We appreciate that, by the way. He says James McCann.
Okay, that's not that he's a pretty decent catcher.
Right? You can always use catching.
Does he still play for the Tigers?
I think he does. If not, he plays for the White Sox. I think it's the Tigers, though.
No, it is the White Sox. He signed with the White Sox in the offseason.
Right, it is the White Sox. Let me give you his numbers. Very, very good year. 292 average, 12 home runs, 33 RBIs, and 267 at-bats. That's a very good year.
Wow. That is
Offensively productive, good defensive catcher. This is a guy that would cost a pretty penny.
Houston Astros.
Wow. I say the Cubs. I say he goes to the Cubs. Wilson Contreras was battling some injury. They went out and they traded for Martin Maldonado. That piece, make him a bench piece. He's not going to get in the lineup much when it comes to postseason time, when it comes to crunch time. James McCann could be that backup guy behind Contreras if Contreras gets healthy and produces back to the way he was. But this is a guy for the Cubs that I could see sliding in nicely.
That's not a bad prediction.
Someone mentioned Hunter Pence to the Rays. Another name, Starling Marte from the Pirates.
Ooh. See, I don't think the Pirates trade Marte. I think they would be very smart to maybe replenish their dismal move they made for Chris Archer last year and try and get somebody back and replace Austin Meadows, who's going to be a 5-tool stud.
Right.
I don't know. I don't think Marte's going anywhere.
Okay. I agree. I think he's a fan favorite over there in Pittsburgh too. I think it'd be very hard for their fan base to deal with the fact of Marte going.
I think the fans love him just as much as he loves steroids.
Wow. Yikes. I mean,
Come
look,
on.
if
Fair
you
point.
maybe. Speaking of a 5-tool stud, another name mentioned, Whit Merrifield from the Royals. Definitely a guy that's been dangled around, but if you ask me, Noah, this guy does not get touched.
I think he should.
He should, absolutely, but this is a guy you build a franchise around. You were just at the Reds Cardinals game, right? So
Yes.
you witnessed this player play, and you said he shouldn't go anywhere. Yasiel Puig of the Reds, someone mentioned.
Yeah, the fans absolutely adore him. I was sitting out in left field, and the fans were heckling him, and he started licking his glove, and everybody was laughing so hard. Yeah, no, he doesn't go there.
Licking his glove.
He's found a home. Cincinnati's weird. He's weird. It works out perfect. He's not going anywhere.
Okay. Someone said D. Gordon.
Ooh, D. Gordon would be a great piece on a ball club.
Very good piece off the bench too. Some speed.
Nah, you got to start him.
Really?
Oh yeah.
He wouldn't cost too much. Make him a fourth outfielder or something. Come playoff time, I don't think that's a bad idea.
No, not a bad idea at all.
You want to go ahead and finish up here? Oh, did we mention this name? I don't think we did. Jonathan VR.
Yeah, I tried to, and you cut me
did.
off.
No. You did mention the Orioles, and I mentioned Mancini.
As soon as I said Jonathan VR, you cut me off and went to somebody else. So
I said Mancini, but let's take a second then and let's dive a little more into VR. You said it. He was a very good utility player, a very good hitter. Where do you see him going?
any team. I think Oakland would make the most sense for him.
To whoever said D. Gordon, he's on the IL, so he can't be traded.
I mean, it's not that he can't be, but
I thought, well, at least according to MLB The Show, you can't trade a player if he's on the injured list.
oh,
Can you trade a player on the injured list?
no, you can absolutely trade a player on the injured list. I believe you could even trade a suspended player. Well, yeah,
Really?
you remember when Roberto Ozuna got moved to the Astros? He was suspended.
True. Nick Anderson from Miami, Billy Hamilton from the Royals. Some names we're not thinking about that I could really see get touched here. And
Billy Hamilton, I think, is going to get moved. Where? I don't know. I don't know. Because, I mean, let's be real. He's not that productive. I mean, yeah, his defense isn't bad. He can steal some bases. I've never personally liked Billy Hamilton. I've never been high on him like everybody else was. That's a tough one. I don't know. Whoever wants him can have him. I don't want him.
All right, so to wrap this up, Noah, almost an hour in, let's throw out some of our predictions. And while we give our predictions about what could possibly happen, whether it's deadline or postseason picture, I want the chat right now to give me theirs. So give me one prediction for who gets moved during the deadline where, and one prediction for a team in the playoff hunt. And we'll let the chat do that while we talk about ours.
Okay.
Would you like me to go first?
Yeah, give me your prediction.
Okay, I'm going to talk about playoff picture first. I'm taking a look here at the standings now, kind of getting a good glimpse at it. We talked about this with Simonetti. Kind of similar to what I said last night, if you've listened to the podcast, but I like Oakland. This is almost deja vu to last year. Like, they were right up Houston's butt all season long. 97 win team last year. No joke. No free pass for Houston right now. This team is playing very good baseball. This is a team that could go out.
Wait. Are you saying that they could win the division?
Yeah. No, this is a hot take, Noah. They could win this division. Absolutely.
I don't know about all that.
Absolutely. They're 6.5 back. They have a wild card right now. They're obviously a contender. Give them a piece or two, they could possibly win the division. This is a hot take for a reason, though. Don't forget. And as for my player to be moved, I don't want to give you a guy that has been named a lot. I don't want to give you a guy that has been in the headlines all week or is going to be rumored on. I'm going to give you a guy that isn't even signed right now, and that's Matt Harvey. He's not going to be traded because he cleared waivers when the Angels DFA'd him not too long ago. But we talked about this with Simonetti. We talked about this with you. Does he have what it takes to be a playoff pitcher? We're not so sure. His attitude in the clubhouse, very questionable. But there's a team like like the Rays or the Indians or the Twins that could say, you know what, let's take a shot at Matt Harvey. And if I had to guess, this is kind of one of those Moneyball moves the Oakland A's would make. Now, this is not a move they should make if they expect to be put over, to put themselves over the Astros and win the division. But if we're talking about the A's and I'm kind of giving them some credit, I say they go out and get Matt Harvey. And I may be crazy for this. Let's hear what you got.
About Matt Harvey?
Right. No, about your predictions.
Oh, I was gonna say I think Matt Harvey should retire and go work at a Wendy's drive-through. As far as playoff picture, this is a tough one because the National League just makes me so mad because usually you have your defined winners. I think St. Louis falls off, and I think
Wow.
you're gonna have three. I think you're gonna have three teams from the NL East in the playoffs this year.
The NL East?
You're gonna have the Phillies, the Nationals. I think the Phillies and the Nationals are gonna be the wild card game for your National League this year.
Okay.
I think Milwaukee completely misses the boat,
Really?
which is a shame because of what Yelich is doing this year. But they don't have enough backbone on that team. As far as the American League goes, I think it's pretty clear and cut. I mean, a lot more so than the National League. I think your wild card game for the American League is probably going to end up being Cleveland and Oakland, just like it is now. I think Boston and Tampa missed the boat. That upsets me because I really want Tampa to make it because I love that team. I love what they do, but I just don't think that they're not really there yet. They are and they're not.
Okay.
As far as trade goes, I'm going to say Stroman ends up going to.
The Yankees.
No, I will never say that. That is blasphemy. Blasphemy! It's total blasphemy.
All right, where's he going?
I'm going to say Stroman goes to Milwaukee.
Like it. If Stroman gets Milwaukee, Noah, they're not falling off. They're winning the Central. Hot take.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I think that they're a piece like Stroman away from being that team that goes over the edge.
Right. Well, before we wrap this up, you did ask for some takes from the chat. You want me to read these off?
Absolutely.
Someone said Blackmon isn't going anywhere. Someone said Robbie Ray to the Yankees. The Cardinals
Blackman's probably not going anywhere.
The Cardinals can make a push for him, meaning Blackmon. They have the assets to get him and put him in center field. There are a lot of talk about Blackmon. Blackman's contract is terrible, owed over $100 million, and he's 33. They did conversate about Cardinals likely taking the chance with Blackmon, but let's step away from Blackmon. The Yankees trade Giancarlo Stanton to the Dodgers for Walker Buehler. The Dodgers would hang up in a second.
If the Dodgers ever did that, that is the worst trade in Major League history.
If
Walker Buehler is the next Zach Greinke. He is an absolute stud.
If that actually happened, MLB must void that trade because that's not even fair.
Giancarlo Stanton should also be working in a Wendy's drive-thru.
Someone said Matt Harvey F no, meaning I guess he's not going anywhere, but someone out there, some contender is going to sign him, I'm telling you. Someone mentioned the burgers may be too heavy on his arm. I guess maybe Matt Harvey?
That's awesome.
Matt Harvey will go to the Astros and they'll turn him into a Cy Young candidate.
Ooh,
that's
a hot take.
That is definitely a hot take. They made Wade Miley a beast. That's true. They've turned Cole into a monster even after he was a monster in Pittsburgh. They've reincarnated Verlander.
I really like that point about Wade Miley because Wade Miley has been extremely underrated this year.
Sports Talker, who again has been very, very active tonight. Thank you again. He said, I think the A's would be smart to target Caleb Smith or Sandy Alcantara from the Marlins. Marlins have 6 starting pitchers currently, so they could sell high on a stud to get a lot back. The A's
I think Caleb Smith has too high of a ceiling for them to trade yet.
Right.
Caleb Smith's a lefty. He's real. I've seen him pitch. He's pretty good. Obviously, he's not to his high potential yet, but the Marlins are trying to rebuild and contend, and I think Caleb Smith is one of those guys that they're going to want to build around.
Hot take from somebody. Jackie Bradley Jr. to the Arizona Diamondbacks for Archie Bradley.
Bradley and Bradley, huh?
Bradley and Bradley.
I don't think that happens. I think you would have to give up a lot more than Jackie Bradley Jr. for Archie Bradley.
Yeah, and Bradley's bat, Jackie Bradley's bat, kind of hurts him. Obviously, his defense is spectacular. He's a world champion. He was a big part of that team last year for the Red Sox, and that's another reason I don't think this move happens, because I don't think the Red Sox even give him up. But Noah, before we head out, any last words? I think I lost him. Sorry, I think I lost you. Come back. Come back. Say what you said again. I think I lost you for a second.
Hello?
Hello. Sorry, I think my internet just like spiked or something. But we're back.
Probably. It usually does. Because Cheaper by the Dozen over there is playing video games.
No, actually they're not.
You need to get new internet then.
Anyway, we're gonna head out. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight live on YouTube. This has been a good podcast. Noah, what are your thoughts on tonight? Noah?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Well, this is something that we're gonna keep in mind. Obviously,
I said fantastic.
Okay, I heard you. We're gonna go ahead and end it there. Having a little bit of internet trouble, but thank you guys so much for joining. Be sure to follow MLB Marathon at MLB Marathon on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at MLB Marathon. Check out our website, MLBMarathon.com. And don't forget, if you like daily fantasy sports, sign up for Thrive Fantasy, daily fantasy sports app, and use code MARATHON, all capitals, at sign up for $10 matched when depositing your first $10. From Noah, Matt, thank you guys again and have a great night.